This is Infection, the survival podcast, recorded live on Tuesday, October 17th, 2017, episode 145. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, updates, and more each and every week. My name is Nick Craig at Nicholas M. Craig is my Twitter. InfectionPodcast.com is our website. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Joining me as he does each and every week, he's the permanent host of the show, Mr. Brian Aldridge. Hey, Brian.
Hey, everybody. So I have one question.
Yes.
Where did 144 go?
I don't know. The Twitch title was 144, so I made it 145. Is it not 145?
No, we're up to 144 this week. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I just updated the Twitch title.
I was just curious.
So it is. Well, let me.
I went back to my notes to make sure.
No, it's you're right. It is 144. So I guess last week the Twitch title was wrong. It's a 144 last week. Okay.
No, we're fine. I just wanted to make sure that I was that I didn't.
All right, hold on. Stand by. Hold on. All right, here we go. This is Infection. Hey, everybody. It's episode 144. I'm your host, Nick Craig. It's Tuesday, October 17th, 2017. Welcome to Infection. Brian. We'll take it off.
Seamless.
It's
Perfect.
Seamless.
We'll edit that in.
Yeah, just
hey, if you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, or you're more than welcome to check out my blog, biteoftech.com. Of course, go to our website, infectionpodcast.com. All the links and ways to be able to find us on YouTube, to our Twitch link, our podcast links to whatever place you want to listen to us at. And of course, our Discord, if you're looking to join up with us, play Game of the Week on Friday night, or just jump in and chat about games. One place, if you want to be able to give us news, if you're looking to give input that leads to a lot of the things we talk about on the show, we have a news channel inside of our Discord, and I would encourage you to go in there. If you see something that you think is big news, go in there and just post it and say, hey, this is something I think is important. If it's something that's relevant to the community that listens to us, we'll put it in the show notes and talk about it. I've actually got some good things that were suggested by some of our listeners today that I think we'll talk about for a while on the show. And so it's very, very helpful when you guys do that for us, because there's some things that we just don't see, or maybe you know a niche thing that we haven't seen. So of course, if you want to join our Steam group, looking for notifications during the week of our Friday night game night, and then we do a notification of when we start the stream. So if you're looking, maybe you're not here every Tuesday, Steam notifications aren't that bad. They're not too harassing. So it would just pop up one little notification right when we start our show. And then we don't always do it on Friday night game night, but sometimes we'll do it for Friday night game night as well. So that is pretty much it.
Absolutely. And I do want to give a quick shout out to our good friend Gadlaw, who came in before the show with a $50 donation, saying that he wanted to get it done ahead of the show. So we are now up to $250 of our $400 goal for our Infection dedicated server that we're working for. It's infectionpodcast.com/dedicated. The days to go is kind of irrelevant. That's, I think, just the end of the year.
We just stuck some, I
think that's the end of the year, December
December
31st or something. So
it wanted a day. So
correct. Infectionpodcast.com/dedicated. And we appreciate everybody that has supported us up until this point. Brian, I have to confess, I missed Game of the Week. I didn't want to miss Game of the Week. I genuinely wanted to play Friday the 13th this week. I know people aren't going to believe, but I genuinely wanted to play Friday the 13th. Yeah. So I'm sorry, but I missed it.
It's fine. So we played Friday the 13th on Friday the 13th, and personally I had a good time. It seems like a lot of the glitchy stuff. Of course, we didn't play with public. I think playing on a public match, you probably get the people that are trolling, and just watching some people stream it, you just see that half the people aren't even going for the objective. They're standing around dancing and things like that. And like the Jason doesn't try to kill you or anything. But as our group, we seem to have a lot of fun with it, because it randomly picks someone that's playing, and that's Jason. And the goal is just to keep away from them. As I said, I didn't notice any huge game-breaking bugs, not a huge amount of glitching, like trying to get into and out of a window. Seems like they've really been pulling it together. It's still, for me, the repetition of the game. I mean, I can't really say, this is a game I want to play for the rest of my life, just because there's a lot of repetition. There's not different game modes. You pretty much have one game mode with slight variations to that game mode. But for once in a while, playing with our group, it is a lot of fun.
What would you rate it in comparison to last time you played? Like, I guess so. This would be the better question. What would you have given it when we originally played? Like a B, C, or D?
I would have given it a D.
Wow. Okay.
I would say a D. I mean, not an F, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. At least you're not a complete failure.
What I'm saying? I'm not saying it's not an F, but I would say like the last time that we played, I would give it a D just because of all the glitches and just the frustrations of things that were not working right.
It was tough to play
with the characters.
There were a lot of game-breaking issues, and when we say that, obviously that always gets the good laugh as daybreak game break. But there are game-breaking issues in Friday the 13th. Case in point, trying to just close or open a door, and you end up, while you're trying to close it behind you, you end up walking outside and pulling it closed in front of you, which is not. Those are game-breaking. Trying to open and close a window, trying to open the window without jumping out of it, and ended up jumping out of it. Those are game-breaking issues. And you said that a lot of those weren't. They kind of polished some of that stuff up. You still have to
be careful. You need to be a little bit mindful of where you're standing when you close the door, because if you're too far inside, you'll step out. But if you're in, I think they've adjusted that area of before. It was like there wasn't really any leeway. Like you would be in what you thought was inside and it would walk you outside. This time it wasn't so bad, but there were times when I was kind of inside on the doorway. I did it and it did put me outside, but I just was like, after I did it that once, I realized, okay, I just need to not be inside of the swing of the door when I go to close it, and it won't put me outside. So I did that, and that pretty much fixed that for me. The main thing, I would say, with the new maps, because we played a lot of the new maps on this one, or the new map on this one, and the main thing is I don't know where anything is, and there's not really a clear objective. So I didn't know, like, what can I do to leave this place? And it's not like they have to tell you, but they should at least say on this map, your objective is possibly to get the parts for the boat or get parts for a car. Like, and not having played the map before, I'm just kind of running around and see what I can find. Like I didn't know. Some people did because they played it and they said, there's probably a car here, or there's a boat. But there's not really a clear objective of here's what you need to do to leave. And I don't know if that's bad, but that would have been helpful when you don't play it very often.
So then my question to you then would be, you would have originally given it a D. What would you give it now?
I'd say it's probably about a C. I'd say it's gone up a grade. I'd say it's a C now.
Would you give it a C or maybe a C plus, borderline on B, or is it there's still enough things?
No, I wouldn't do it that high. Yeah.
Okay, so why? I mean, you said that a lot of the game breaking issues were fixed, but why? So why not more than why just one letter jump grade on that?
For me, I don't like. And this, I don't like the character animations. I don't like the way the game is. I don't like how you move.
You just don't like the game.
Like that. Yeah, I mean, I just don't. So for me, I get frustrated playing it, and I wouldn't be able to play it for very long periods of time. Mm-hmm. And so B would be a good game, maybe not made well, right? Okay. That has a really good concept and things like that. A would be a good concept made well. And this, I mean, you can like the franchise that it's made after, but I think that the overall way that the game is played isn't that great of a concept. I mean, it's very repetitive.
Yeah.
And it's done in kind of a halfway manner. So that's why I give it a C. Last time it was just very broken. And so it went down to a D, but still, like, they would have to add more game modes for me to knock it up to a B, of something that gives more variety so that you don't feel like you're doing the same thing each and every game, which you are.
I had somebody send me a private message this week, or not this week. It was last week. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, about purchasing F-13 for game night, and I told them no. I said you are probably not going to get. I essentially said what we've said on the show. I said unless you are a super fan of the F-13 series, which not everybody is, but unless you're a super fan of the F-13 series, I think it's a bad. Not that games are investments.
If you're looking
but
for
it's a
that
bad investment.
style of a game,
yeah.
If you're looking for that style of game, go for Dead by Daylight. It's still somewhat repetitive, but they have different characters you can play, which give a little bit of a different. It's a very similar concept, but I think it has just a tad more variety when it comes to it. Plus, if you're not tied to Friday the 13th, they have Leatherface, and they have all these different
The horror
characters, and they're adding more.
Yeah.
So it's something I think they have Freddy Krueger, that one's coming up. They've got a number of different ones. And so it's not the same thing. And there's a chance, because they're not so tied to this, that there might be more variety in the future. And the fact that they're getting those different titles or those different franchises to follow them, for me, that personally means that there's got to be something they're showing them, or there's got to be some future plans. Like, people wouldn't just give them their name if they think the game is going nowhere. I mean, they've got enough of those pretty much on almost the level of Friday the 13th Jason type of characters, and for some people probably on that level, they've got a number of those in that title. So
yeah, I'm still, there's a couple of games that are in this genre of fun when you play them, you don't play them often, and for somebody that's wanting to just get it now, it just doesn't seem like a good deal. And I don't really know how to.
I mean, if you're fine with buying it now and then never playing it again until next game night, however many months down the road that we play it again, then there you go. I mean, if you're okay with spending that amount of money for that short of amount of play, because I can't promise you that you'll play it again until then.
Well, there's a couple of games that fall. Friday the 13th is the one we're talking about now, but there's a couple of games like that. Hurt World is another one that comes to mind. Fun game. Same thing with 7 Days to Die. Fun game, but unless you're going to be playing it with
for
a group,
period of time.
Exactly, and that's the thing. There's a couple of games, and again, Friday the 13th has bugs and issues well beyond a game like 7 Days to Die, which in its own right has issues. But there's this weird select category of games that when you get into them, case in point, when we get into 7 Days to Die, when we ran that server last time, we had a boatload of fun. Everybody loved it.
Yeah.
Everybody was having a great time. But I haven't launched the game since. I know for a fact you haven't launched the game since. Nobody in our Discord, besides probably Heisenberg, has launched the game since. So, is it a good game? Yes. Is it good? We buy these games because we talk about them for the most part. But is this a good game to just play for the Friday the 13th game night? My answer is still no, unless you've got $25 or $30 burning a hole in your pocket. Which are some people that just, have some extra, hey, I made an extra $100 this week. I want to buy a game. Then, yeah, probably. But if you're contemplating $30 now or, $30 in the next 2 weeks for another game, I don't think I'd recommend a game like Friday the 13th at this point. And it's not just Friday the 13th. Yeah. I'd say the exact same thing about 7 Days to Die. I'd say the exact same thing about Hurt World. I'd say the exact same thing about Miscreated. I feel the same about all those games. They just have this similar.
You've got a few people that are able to play that over and over again, but most people, just because of the lack of, once again, depth. I think a lot of these games, it comes down to depth. Now, 7 Days to Die does have a lot of depth in the base building, but because of its mechanics, I think that it's a little bit unique in that you don't just it keeps getting harder and harder. You don't just go on there and mess around for hours. It's not like a casual game. It's continually getting harder. But I think with a game like Miscreated, you run into it and there's not a huge amount of replay unless you just want to go in there and do PvP. But if you're just going to do PvP in there, there's other games that do it better, right? The game is beautiful. I was talking with someone about it this week. The game is beautiful, but short of that, their animations, which I know they've been slowly improving or at least adding to, their base building is a mess. Right. And we'll be talking about a patch today where they are addressing some of that. The gunplay, just a lot of the stuff needs a lot of work. But if you're looking for a world to run around to, especially if you just want to run around and kind of mess around every once in a while and just experience it and feel like you're getting lost in a game, it's a great game for that. But I can't play it every single day just because it's missing that next step of here's what I want to do with the extra hours that I'm putting into the game. It's not like Ark. There's not okay, well then you do this after that. Like it's just that first level of you run around and shoot people. You try to find bullets and then you shoot people and that's it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wish there was a good solution to these. There's a lot of these games that I guess would fall into when you have some extra cash purchase kind of category. At least in my opinion. There's a whole bunch of games like that, and Friday the 13th is one of them. And it's and again, this is not we joke about Friday the 13th, we make fun of Friday the 13th in the past. There's a whole bunch of, I would say a majority of the games we talk about fall into that category, Brian, to be perfectly honest with you. Looking through the list of notes that we have here right now, I would say at least half of these games fall into that category.
Yeah.
Good games, but you're not buying every single one of them unless you've just got money to spend on games, which most people don't. So,
yep. And that's the thing is some of these games, a lot of these games you talk about, they're just very much if you get into that game and like you really get into it, you can spend a huge amount of hours. Like Life is Feudal is one of those. You could get lost in that game if that's the game you like to play, but it's not a casual game. Unturned is another one that's very difficult. Either you're into it or you're not. Rust, the same thing. Even you're into it or you're not at all. Those are Elite Dangerous, exactly the same thing. Either you're into Elite Dangerous or you can't stand Elite Dangerous. There's no casual Elite Dangerous players. There's no casual Life is Feudal players.
Exactly.
And that's the thing is, we like to talk about them because we have audiences in all of them, but you don't play all these games.
Well, maybe that's
people can try them, but you don't play them.
Maybe that's what did you just say? You said something that really struck with me. You said something about do you remember what you said? Something about casual players?
I said you don't play any of these games casually, and nobody plays all of these games. We don't have a listener who plays all these games regularly.
I think that's the thing. These are good games. They're not good regular played games. And this is my personal opinion on things. I understand everybody is different, but when I'm deciding, hey, I'd like to buy a game, I look at things very practically. So when I look at buying a game, I'm looking for an ROI. Even though that's stupid because it's a video game. But I look for a return on investment on it. So, for example, when I buy Call of Duty for $60, actually for probably $100 every year with the season pass, I normally get a pretty damn good return on investment because I play the living hell out of the game. Pretty good ROI.
Yeah.
A lot of these games do not have a good return on investment. Friday the 13th, I would say, is one I got a great return on investment for Friday the 13th. But I would say most people did not. Most people, like Brian, did not get a great return on investment for Friday the 13th. Somebody like Firebomb, though, for example, I think he got a great return on investment for F13. He loves it. He said he played it 17 hours this weekend during Double XP.
Yeah. So for him, and that's the thing is, these games are great. If you put the time in, you'll get your money's out of it. Like if you go in there, the amount of gameplay that you can do in a game like Life is Feudal or Elite Dangerous, which we've been talking about a lot with some of the cool stuff that they've been adding, you could install those games on your computer and that could be the only game that you play.
Yeah.
And you could put tons of hours every week into it and never hit a peak point where you're like, I don't have anything else to do. Like I've hit that cap. That's one of those things where you go through and I mean, WoW is the one example I always go back to. You never hit a point to where you're like, I don't have another thing that I need to do in this game. Like there's always that next piece of gear you need or that next thing. Like you would get to where you kind of hit the cap, but you never quite had everything that you wanted before the next release came out. These games are, I can't imagine you going into Elite Dangerous and getting all the ships that you want, upgraded to all the levels that you want, and explored and pretty much experienced everything that the game's to offer. You could have thousands of hours in that game and you wouldn't have that. So I think that I think some of these games you just can't. mean, you just got to find, and if you're into that type of game, go get those games. Like go
Oh, yeah,
buy it.
absolutely.
But don't casually go into it and say, oh, I'd like to check it out, unless you don't care about the money, because there's a very likely chance that it's not going to be the game that you want. Like if you're into space games, or you're into games that have a long grind, or like we have somebody who goes and he's able to go get some of the kind of the world firsts that they have in Elite Dangerous. Like he'll go and discover zones that no one's been to. And so it actually marks in the game when anyone else goes there, it says discovered by this person. So he goes, for him, that's fun. That's like that kind of extra game that he's found in the game of going, because it gives him big rewards. Because I mean, that's one thing that you can go do is you fly around, you find zones that no one else has discovered. You go back and you sell the maps of that zone, or the thing saying you found it, and you get tons of money for it. Plus, forever it says this person discovered this zone. Anyone who flies there will see your name up there.
Yeah, it's like being credits in a movie.
Or even being up on the board of like for King of the Kill and things like that.
Yeah, being on there.
Like for some people, that's what it's about. Getting up there and being listed as, hey, look, I am
best in the world.
I have some cred, here.
Oh, I mean, everybody,
you're into that,
everybody's got an ego. And that's an ego thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care what you say. Everybody has a little bit of an ego, and everybody loves seeing themselves something credited to them. So there's definitely a place
I mean, that's
for
what all of these leaderboards are.
Yeah.
All this stuff is about you trying to get your name up there and just to show that you're ahead of someone else. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway. I don't know where we haven't even started our notes. Okay.
No, we have
to make sure. I was like,
no, we have not.
But it's all based on our Friday the 13th experience.
Yeah.
For the game of the week.
Well, I think it's a good discussion.
Yep.
Because again, while we are so critical of some of these games, it doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that in our expert opinion, I can say we have an expert opinion. I mean, all joking aside, Brian, we have covered these games incessantly. We've talked about them time and time and time again. I think we've got a decent opinion on them. So again, with anything you buy, be weary and just understand. For example, Falcon said, his chat, the comments go up. He said, "I look for games that I could put 1,000+ hours into." Those are the kind of games.
And that's the thing. Falcon, he's the kind of person who, if he got, because he'll get into one game. Same thing with Matt. You'll get people that'll get into one game and they'll play their money's worth out of that game. He said Falcon loved Elite Dangerous, but he got distracted with it.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of game where if you're into that, like they'll go in and they'll put in 100 hours, in a short amount of time into a game. Well, those are one of those games that you can do that and you'll just be scratching the surface. Those are the games that are, for me, are the most fun, but I just don't with school. Like I can't let myself do it right now.
I mean, you could,
but I could, but then I would not pass any classes.
Well, my
priorities are all wrong.
Exactly. That's case in point.
But those are the games where if you can get past that initial stage of getting the tires, broken in, the game has so much life to it. But the hard time is getting past that initial steps of getting a decent ship, learning how all the controls work, learning where you need to go and how to, understand the quests that you're supposed to accomplish. Once you get past that, then you see the whole game opens up. Just like WoW. People think that the leveling up and getting to the top level is the game. No, like the whole end game opens up once you get to that level, and then it's a whole new game. Well, and I think a lot of these are like that.
And some small extent. I mean, I've still been obviously playing some Ark. Been checking up on my stuff. It's the server's kind of fallen a little dormant, but it's still active. There's still people playing. Falcon's still playing. Joe's still playing. I've played for a little while yesterday. All those things are going on, but in some extent, it's kind of that same thing. And almost all the games we talk about are some of that same thing. There's it's the barrier to entry. It's the hurdle. Yep. You just have to get over that. 7 Days to Die's got a really bad barrier to entry. I think it's arguably some of the worst. Same thing with Miscreated. Very, very high barrier. Well, maybe Miscreated not so much, but 7 Days to Die is unreal how hard it is to get into that game. Because it's so tough and it's just a very hard game to play.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So do we want to move on?
Yes.
We got some really short ARC.
Well,
news
real quick
here,
before we move on to ARC, we do want to announce Game of the Week.
For this coming week.
It's spooky, scary time again. It's Halloween time. And we showed you the trailer last week for the new Overwatch skins. They do this for almost every holiday. We're playing Overwatch this Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, in our Discord. We're going to be getting it's always a great time when people play Overwatch. Going to be getting the new skins. Yeah. I unfortunately will again be unavailable, but potentially. But nevertheless, it's gonna be a great night. Overwatch Friday the 13th. This Friday. 9 p.m. Eastern. It's not Friday the 13th. That was last week. So you can join in on that. Make sure you're downloaded, updated, and we will see you Friday night for that.
And possibly I'll get my wife to play.
There you
go. She seems to always end up playing a little bit of Overwatch when we do it.
So Overwatch is a great game.
Those games that I actually get her to play.
Overwatch is a very, very good game. So there you go.
All right. So ARC, we got patch 272, and this is one of the major versions, but not a huge amount. Not in the main notes. So they fixed, and this was October 11th, 6 days ago. They fixed a server crash that some hosts were getting after uninstalling certain mods. They re-added the My Survivors menu option. They temporarily removed the HDR option. This is something they added last week, I think, because it was causing some issues with graphics. But I'm sure they're going to try to re-enable that as soon as they get it figured out. And then they had a big Ragnarok update. And that's why I said this was kind of a light patch notes, but this major version, there was a lot of updates. 20% more map area inside of Ragnarok, and then a list of fixes and changes that they have for there. And so this is on the southwest where the where the desert is. They added a whole new 20% more area to that. So there's 3 caves. They added explorable canyons, metal and obsidian locations that you can go mine, flat building plateaus, oil, water veins. So, and they said ability to place tree platforms on some desert rocks. So if you haven't tried that, there's some of those tall rocks that you can actually put the tree platforms on to put some unique base patterns in places that you normally wouldn't be able to. So check that out. That is the Ragnarok, and that's what's on our server that we're playing right now. So you can go on there and check out some of the new zone.
Still having a lot of fun.
And then on 270. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. And we still haven't, we're not to end game yet.
No.
It's one of those games where there's still plenty to do. We're nowhere near end game. 272.1, this was on the 11th as well. They fixed an issue where old Ragnarok landscape sublevels randomly weren't getting properly deleted when updating the build on some servers and clients. So that was 272.1. 272.11, this was on the 13th, prevented rafts from being uploaded. I guess people were uploading rafts. And then 272.2 made Ragnarok bosses grant tech swords and tech shields and tech lights once again, as well as having the boss arena last 40 minutes rather than 20 minutes. So that puts us to current 272.2.
All righty.
ARC.
Yes, ARC. Again, our server, a lot of fun. If you've played ARC with groups before, highly recommend you jump on our server and play by yourself. I know that might sound that may sound contrary to what you're looking for, but I would highly recommend that you.
There's still plenty of a chance to play with other people, but get your own experience going so you understand the game. And you're not just logging in and using other people's stuff and never actually enjoying the game for what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and I think that's the point with it the game is completely different in a group aspect from playing by yourself. It literally might as well be. And I know we're talking a lot about 7 Days to Die, but 7 Days to Die is kind of that same thing. The group play and the solo play might as well be like ARC. They might as well have a $60 ARC multiplayer and a $60 ARC single player because they are incredibly different. They're just complete opposites. So would definitely recommend people jumping on the server if they're looking for a solo experience. So, all right. There's been a lot of drama with PUBG, and the reason there's drama, it's the same reason people hate Unturned, because the game is hard. That's why people hate Unturned. Why is there so much drama around PUBG? Because so many freaking people are playing it. I mean, there's nothing else to say. There is drama associated because the Fortnite, the Epic drama, because again, the game is successful. There's 2 million people playing the damn game. That's why there's all this drama.
Yep.
So there's an article this week. I think I posted this actually in the news channel to remind this later. And the headline here is Microsoft trying to delay PUBG getting a PS4 release. And if you're familiar with what happened with PUBG, obviously it's a PC release. It's being done by Bluehole, which is a big Korean development house. But at E3 last year, Brandon, who is PlayerUnknown, walked out on the stage of Microsoft's press during Microsoft's big presser that they do at E3, and teased Battlegrounds. You know, this is Battlegrounds. This is the game coming to Xbox One. I don't remember what they call their game. I don't remember what they call their program. It's got some name. Xbox Early Access or Xbox Access or something like that. And this article is saying, well, is Microsoft trying to delay a PUBG release, PUBG PS4 release? But just reading that headline, the answer is of course yes. Like Microsoft, we had this conversation last week. This is free market. This is capitalism. Microsoft is going to be putting, I would imagine, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in man time, raw cash, resources, materials, whatever it may be, into PUBG. So of course they're going to want to delay it as much as possible on the PS4. This is all about exclusivity. And it is no surprise that they're trying to do this. I mean, it is stupid. It's beyond stupid for anybody to assume that, no, Microsoft is going to put in a whole bunch of money into this and then make sure PS4 gets it at the same time because, good guy Microsoft. Sony and PlayStation are direct Microsoft and PlayStation and Sony are direct competitors. Why would Microsoft invest hundreds of thousands of dollars and want the game to come out at the exact same time on the PS4? That would make zero sense whatsoever. So there's just these stupid freaking articles that pop up along the end. These people have no concept of how the real world works. And the representative from Microsoft said, and this is the quote, "Right now the team is solely focused on bringing the best game possible to Xbox One and PC." This is a Microsoft representative saying that. Why would they give 3 craps about the PS4 release? This is Microsoft. This isn't Bluehole. This is Microsoft. Ideally, they're going to be investing a whole bunch of technology, a whole bunch of resources, a whole bunch of developers into making this super successful game, flip over to the Xbox side. I mean, ideally, this is a very expensive process to do. So, yes, they are going to try to hold back this game from PS4 as long as possible. Will it come out on PS4? Absolutely. Absolutely. But not right now. Not until Microsoft, gets their little show. And that's just my opinion.
And that's the thing. PH brings up, the frame rates for this. And that's the thing is they got to go through and use all their different technologies that they can to try to get the most out of this. Because, I mean, it's on Unreal Engine. It has the ability to go out to PlayStation. It has the ability to go out to Xbox.
Yep.
Probably as is, but not optimized. When you would go on there, I'm sure that they could export it for that. And you may have some features that actually break, and they'd have to adjust and change. But computers, they can be much more forgiving when it comes to frame rates and things like that. On a console, the hardware is what the hardware is.
Yeah.
And so they have to go through and try to give the same experience that a PC person is getting on that console to where it feels like it's getting a high frame rate. Maybe someone has a 4K television, whatever it is. They have to figure out how to get that game to run well on 4K, which is a really high resolution. That's probably what they're sitting and that's all they're doing is getting these, like the water technology. They probably looked and said, well, okay, one thing that's dropping our frame rates is your water, the way you do your water. Yeah. We have a better technology.
And we showed that.
Put this in there. They're probably going to be looking. Yeah. They're probably going to be looking at each thing. All right. Do we have something that can do this more efficiently? That's something for Xbox. And that's probably what they're going to be doing over the next 6 months.
Yeah. But again, it's just this concept that like Microsoft is evil. Big bad Microsoft. Folks, this is business. Like
Yeah.
these articles are just
Their
so
goal is to get that title.
stupid.
I mean, they want to get that exclusive title because people do buy. I bought a PlayStation because of the titles that were available on it that aren't available on anything else. And you know what? They know that's what's, if it were available, if one console had every title, you know what? Everybody would have that console, but they don't. And that's how they get people to go one way or the other, or even buy both.
Yeah, I mean, I've got both.
If everything was available everywhere, they wouldn't buy both.
Yeah, again, what is the end motive for Microsoft? Profit, money,
Sell as many copies,
cash in the bank,
and as many consoles as possible, and copies of that game as possible.
and this doesn't really affect our audience as much. I think I'd like to believe that we have an intelligent group that watch our show, but I mean, the fact that we even have to have this conversation is beyond ridiculous. I mean, there's no reason this conversation even needs to exist, because this is just such an easy concept to grasp. How Microsoft is doing this. Microsoft is investing the resources because they believe they can make a boatload of money off the title. And guess what? They probably will make a boatload of money off this title. That's why they're doing this. So they're not going to just go out and give that to Sony. I mean, it's like Ford building a brand new freaking car and then shipping it over to Chevrolet and then Chevy throwing their logo on it. Why? What would possess Ford to do that? Wouldn't make any sense. It's the same argument with PUBG and Microsoft. And the fact that we're having this conversation is just, again, shows how out of touch some gamers are in this environment. We talked about this multiple times. How out of touch either the journalists are, the people writing stories, Reddit, just the internet in general.
At PAX, I mean, a lot of these people that are writing or doing interviews, they seem to care. They could not care less about the game they're going to interview or the company they're going to go interview. They could care less about the game that they're getting ready to talk about. And we saw it in just people going up into the interviews and like they didn't have a notebook. They weren't recording anything. They just went there and they'd talk to them and they'd walk away, and this, they didn't seem really interested in any of it. They're just, for them, they've got to go through some things to cover. They got some extra questions to ask. They'll go ask them so they can go drinking or whatever that night. Like that's their big goal for the trip. And so I don't know. I think that's the way they work.
Yeah. It's just, it really, really makes me wonder about some of this stuff. Nevertheless, that's the next step in the next iteration. I should say this is it's the ongoing saga of PUBG drama. It's not going to stop because as long as this game is still selling tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of copies a week, this stuff's going to continue. So that's the the somewhat PUBG news. Now there is another article here, and this is from PC Gamer. This is a couple days old. The PUBG anti-cheat system is banning more than 6,000 players a day, and on last Friday, which was the 13th, Friday the 13th. Of course, I should have known that. It banned nearly 20,000 players, and we showed last week. Or I should say Brian pulled those graphs up last week showing the new player breakdown, those charts. And we saw that there was a large amount of people playing in China, which, hello, that
tends to
that's where these hackers are coming from is China. That's H1Z1. That's just what happens. So I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, but clearly we've finally got a game on our hands that seems to have figured out anti-cheat for the most part. Now, of course, is there still people cheating in game? Absolutely. Any game that is connected to the internet that people are playing against each other, somebody will find a way to cheat somehow. It'll be patched, but somebody's going to find a way to cheat. It's just what happens.
Yep. So, okay, so here, actually, I have some stuff on cheats here.
Yes, you do.
I tried to, and this was actually Chris in chat, also it goes by Judd. He had sent me some things just about some of the cheats that are available right now.
Yeah.
And so there's the first image here, it shows the different packages that they have.
Give me 1 second here.
Sure. And I'm not selling, I'm not selling these. I'm
no,
not
of
telling
course
you to go buy them, and I tried to take off the names of the cheat places where they were. If you look here, the trial package includes ESP only. You get 3 days for $35.
And
So they're going through and selling.
It's recording and streaming
Right.
safe, which I find the most interesting thing of all of this is that it lets you toggle
And so it makes sure
the
it
mode.
doesn't show.
Yeah, on your stream.
Yeah, make sure it doesn't show on stream ever. So that's just the ESP only. They have the ESP package, including full ESP and 2D radar. So that for 1 month, $150. Now, these slots, from what I gather, what these are, they only allow a certain number of copies of these cheats out in the wild.
Correct.
Because they don't want the companies getting a hold of them. So he's saying we're allowing 10 people for 3 days to have these ESP only cheats.
Yep.
For 15 people, we're gonna, if you want to buy 1 month worth, $150 for just the ESP and the 2D radar, and then the full package, which they have 10 slots possible for, and out of that, they have 9, so there's only 1 slot available, right? Of that, so 9 people are paying $380 a month to be able to use aimbot, full ESP, and 2D radar. And if you look, there's the lifetime license. So that means they pay that person $1,000 and they don't have to pay a monthly fee. But then they're willing to pay $1,000 to have the 3 cheats. And they have 2 people that have already done it. They only allow 5 people to have it. And so they're pretty much selling these cheats. And it's like having your own private coder, just so that that's the thing, is if you're going to cheat, you want to get one that's not public, right?
Of course.
One that's, because we've seen where these cheat companies, they say, or these developers, they say, we get inside and we try to buy the cheats.
Yeah.
So that
H1Z1, I think.
Figure out how they're made to detect them.
Yeah, I believe H1Z1, we praised the hell out of them. I believe they were, I think it was them on Twitter, were talking about literally going out and purchasing these cheats. And then they can reverse engineer, or they look at the scripts in the code and they see that's what they're doing. And they patch the hole. I mean, yeah. And I'm sure they vet these people. Look, okay.
Yeah.
This is going to come off wrong, but you got to give props to these cheat makers. I mean, these guys are making bank off of these cheats. I mean, these people are cleaning up thousands of dollars a month. Again, is it cheating? Do I support them cheating? No, but I mean, if they have the ability to do it and they can make a profit off of it, I mean, I'm all for it. It's not illegal. Again, it's does it hurt the game?
Okay,
yes,
so
but it's just crazy.
It is illegal at certain points. So, and we'll get into that actually later with Fortnite. So, and then there's one more image that I have on there that just shows you what you're getting. When they say aimbot, they have aim speed plus or minus. You can actually make it so that it pulls your cursor right to their head, or their body, whichever you choose, at a faster, slow rate.
Which would not be good if you're live streaming. Because if you were streaming, you'd want it to be slow.
You'd want the aimbot to be slow so that you're kind of eventually getting there. Like it just doesn't snap. Player ESP, you can have to where it shows the name, show a box for the person, a skeleton, the distance the person's away, their health percentage, health bars, and then soon it'll show you even what weapons they have,
which is cool.
World ESP shows where vehicles are, vehicle snap lines, and then items around the world, so you can see where to loot stuff. Miscellaneous, they have crosshairs, radar, so you always know where to aim. Radar soon. FPS is probably just the frames per second, and then as I said, recording and streaming safe, and then supported anti-cheats BattleEye. So it says we get around BattleEye.
Yep.
So, so, and then there's actually a video, and if you started at the time that I put, then it doesn't show the name of the cheat vendor, because that was my goal. It just kind of shows it in action. I have a timestamp in the link.
Yeah.
And I might remove the video before you post it on the thing.
Yeah, this is,
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
And you can see here that you can see the red box along the,
that shows where that player is in that building.
And right here, just
running in,
sniped from unreal distances with the one-shot headshot. And I'm going to cut away from that before it shows a logo. But I mean, these are out there. These are out there with H1. They're out there with Battlegrounds, and these things are going to continue. The good thing is as these cheats get more advanced and advanced, first of all, it makes BattleEye and the game make their cheat system impeccable, and it'll eventually get to a point where big things like this don't work. But again, do I support the cheating? No, but I mean, if the demand is there, and clearly it is, if people are willing to pay for those cheats, I mean, somebody's going to make them. I mean, that's what this end goal comes down to. If people are not interested in buying the cheats, the cheat developers are not going to waste their time making it. So again, it's a simple supply and demand thing. The demand is clearly, with 2 million people, the demand is there for somebody to supply the cheats. Those people are going to continue to supply those cheats as long as Battlegrounds makes it available to happen. So, hopefully they can get it under control.
I thought I had it in the notes here, but Microsoft is actually going to be implementing an anti-cheat system so they're going to be putting an anti-cheat system into the fall update. And I think it's called True Play, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And I know that Arc has been talking about implementing this and how to do it properly. But so what they'll be doing is having it actually built in the operating system ways to prevent and detect some of the ESP and the aimbots and things like that. So it's not at the application level. The operating system is actually working to fight it.
Gotcha.
So, and this is the kind of stuff it's going to take. Same thing. I said this last week. I think it's great that Unreal is willing to get, or Epic is willing to get into the game modes that they're wanting people to make games on, because the anti-cheat is then real to them as well. Just like Microsoft. If Microsoft didn't have Xbox and didn't have the selling games on PC, because they have a pretty big studio, they are into the game market on PC even. If that didn't matter to them, they probably wouldn't be making this True Play to try to do anti-cheat.
No, absolutely
Same
not.
Same thing. You look at what Epic is doing. Epic, I think now that they're seeing what cheaters are like and how big of a real problem it is, I think that they're turning around and they're going to be trying to do the same thing. They're going to be implementing as many anti-cheat features. We have an article that we'll be going into a little bit about them actually trying to get the cheaters themselves and sue them.
Yeah.
But the thing is I think that all these companies, it's going to take at the operating system level to be able to detect ESP and things like that, because we've seen there's no way for the game application to detect it and to do anything about it, the ESP. It's been something that we said, I guess there's nothing we can do. Well, hopefully there's some secret and there's things that they've figured out and they're actually able to either detect or prevent it, which will be hard. But I mean, I don't want it to be to where cheating is just the way it is.
No,
like you just got to accept it. And I feel like that's kind of where we're at right now. It's there. Got to accept it.
No, well, yes and no. I mean, Brian, again, you say that, but I don't think that makes any sense. Case in point, look at these numbers. I mean, there are at most 50 copies of this cheat out there. At the most possible, it's somewhere in the ballpark of 30 to 50 of these cheats. There's 2 million people playing.
Banning 6,000 a day.
My point is with a cheat system like this, there is not. There's not 10,000 copies of this cheat system available. There's a couple. So is it an issue?
There's got to be 10,000 of some of other ones, because somehow there's 6,000 people a day losing their copies of their games.
Well, again, they're getting banned for anti-cheat, but if I remember correctly, teaming and solo is considered cheating, is it not? I'm pretty sure it is. You can't team and solo.
I don't know if they consider that, but I know you can get banned for it.
So then, this number is how many people they're banning a day.
I'd be interested to see how many are actual based on like ESP /
it would
do it on ESP, but based on aimbots and things like that. That's what I'd be interested to see, is how many people are actually using or are using a cheat application in the real world, because I don't really know people that do. Like how it's got to be really prevalent though. Well, I see how many people there are.
Well, that's the thing is, I don't play this game as much as everybody, so maybe I'm off base on this, but we just played it a couple of weeks ago. I didn't feel rampant cheating. When you play H1Z1, you felt rampant cheating. You felt like every time you died, it was Jesus.
People flying.
Where the hell? I'm standing inside of a damn building and now my head's blown off. How is that possible? I don't feel that in Battlegrounds. It's just again, are people cheating? Absolutely, clearly. The PC Gamer article. 6,000 people banned a day, nearly 20,000 on Friday across the world. But out of 2 million people, 6,000, is that really that big of a number? I mean, mathematically, no.
Not with the 2 million playing at any one moment.
So that's the good thing, is it's not like 100,000 people are cheating or 200,000 people are cheating. Then you're more likely to be falling into games with multiple cheaters. I've died plenty of times in Battlegrounds. I may be able to count on my two hands the amount of times I was like, that is a complete BS kill. But it's not often.
Yeah. Well, and I've had in H1Z1 where in one day I could count 5 times that I got killed by cheaters.
Yeah.
In one day.
I don't think that happens in this game. Again, is it because the game's a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Balanced? Like the casual player like me actually has a chance of kill. If that's the thing with ESP and aimbot, those people use that, but they don't normally keep it on all the time. Like they don't run around with aimbot. When they get into a place, they'll toggle aimbot on. But you can sneak up on those people. They don't have God mode. They can be shot and killed. So it's just interesting. Yes, there's obviously a problem, but is it really affecting games in masses? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, one thing I guess we can just touch on it really quick. That's the thing with Fortnite. They are suing 2 of the cheat providers. And they're actually going after them for loss. Because they view it as it's actually causing them loss. Because I don't know if it's players or because it's a multiplayer online game that they are, and this one they're doing copyright infringement, but that's where these companies go after these cheaters, is because it's affecting other players as well.
Yeah. Well, see,
that's the only reason they do it. If you're cheating in a single player game, it doesn't matter, but this.
Well, no, it does. If they're suing them for copyright infringement, they're suing them because they're copying their code or they're infringing on their code. That would work in single player. Here's the big.
Well, that's because that's the only really way that they.
Yeah,
can,
of course.
Again,
because cheating is not illegal. That was my point. Cheating is not illegal. It is not illegal to cheat. It's against the rules. It's not illegal. You're not. The FBI is not going to come and kick down your door and throw you in jail for running aimbot. That's not a thing. There's nothing criminal about using that. Does it make you, in my opinion, a shitty person? Yes, it does. I agree. I have no sympathy for people that cheat in video games. I think they're the worst kinds of people. Because when I spend $60 on a game and I have to deal with some jackass cheating, it's the worst thing in the world. But it's not illegal. There's nothing illegal about it. No. And to be perfectly honest with you, I hope Fortnite and Epic have got pretty deep piggy banks, because there's a couple of issues you have here. First of all, you've got to now explain to regular people, again, folks, you've got to explain to regular people how cheating in a video game is illegal. I mean, again, this is in a court of, this presumably would be in the United States. So, yeah, we see this issue all the time. We see this with the big YouTube copyright infringements. People, again, regular people, grandmothers, mothers, uncles, cannot wrap their head around the concept behind YouTube and online media. It's a new thing. I mean, we're talking about, it's a new concept. So there is it's very hard to pin down those things in a court and try to, and have have both sides try to explain to non-technical people what's going on here. Copyright infringement specifically. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what this lawsuit brings. Brian and I are friends with a very good attorney. I may send him some of this stuff and just get a little opinion on what they think. But I don't imagine this would go anywhere. This is going to be so incredibly hard to prove. And I really doubt Epic Games is willing to dish out the hundreds of thousands of dollars for this. And again, are these people even in the U.S.?
I bet you they are.
They're not going to extradite these people. You think they're going to extradite people from Russia or China? No, it's just not going to happen. Sweden, it's not. They're not going to extradite anybody. I mean, again,
and that's the issue, is we're dealing with something that's international. Having a law here in the United States doesn't affect, and short of, I mean, you could kind of treat it like the drug war a little bit. What do you do when all the people that are creating the drugs are outside of the country? Well, all you can do is get it at that point when it's entering the country, or get the local people. Well, you're still not punishing the people that created them.
Of course.
All those people are still out there. I mean, it takes a huge amount of work to really even try to go after these people, and Russia is never going to really care.
Again,
China's not ever really going to care about it.
I'm all for these people getting caught and getting stopped, but suing them, I mean, I would rather have Epic put $300,000 into improving their anti-cheat than just blowing it away on freaking attorneys in the United States. It just seems like it's a useless argument. So great, you're going to sue 2 people. You're going to sue every other person that comes up with a cheat? I mean, they'll go broke doing that. They'll absolutely go broke doing that. I mean, if they can't stop sites like the Pirate Bay and stuff, I mean, really, they're gonna be able to stop this?
Well, and I think these 2 guys are based out of the United States, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
They filed this in North Carolina, I think.
Oh, wow.
And so that's where I'm thinking these are probably people that these ones are ones they can actually reach. And so, yeah. So I think that's why. But
I'll go to the General Assembly.
But the thing is really there's a limited amount that they can do to anyone outside of the country. They're just going to make an example of these guys. Okay, well, that just means don't make cheats inside of the United States.
Yeah, it's the PH just posted an article about again, people have tried this in the past. It's just you have to explain video games and technology, and I mean, most people, I don't understand copyright infringement because it's people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars going to school to learn copyright infringement.
Yeah.
It's not something that it's not something that everybody understands. So now you've got technology, which is confusing. You've got video games, which people don't understand. And then you've got copyright infringement all thrown in a single case. My point is nothing is going to come of this. There's not a chance in hell that this stops cheating. In online video games, there's just no chance, Brian. And I think it's beyond.
They just need to make it difficult is all they can really do. I mean, implement things into the engine. I guess that's one reason that consoles have a leg up, as far as in this area, because it's more difficult to set up cheats on a console.
Just put the money into improving the anti-cheat system. I mean, that's just how it seems for me. Put the money into the anti-cheat system. How much money do you think Epic put into having lawyers and attorneys draft these lawsuits? Yeah. Attorneys are not $35 an hour. Corporate attorneys are very expensive. I don't see this going anywhere. I don't think this is going to stop.
I mean, they may be just setting the precedence, because if they can get a couple of these won, then all they have to do is then later refer to these cases and say, it's already been decided, and just, then they can quickly decide the cases. I think they just need to get those first couple sets done to where after this, it's like, okay, they did this in a previous case. It was determined that this deserves a
setting legal precedent. Yeah.
And boom, they do it. I think that's what they're aiming for with these, is to set a legal precedent.
Yeah. And PH is saying copyright infringement is no joke. Of course it's not. Nobody's saying it is. But it's just a very hard, you're taking a lot of things that regular non-lawyers, non-tech people understand. And I mean, case in point, look at what happened with we're getting totally off topic here. We're not going to get to half our notes. But H3 Productions, in their massive lawsuit that they went in trying to talk about fair use, they spent, Philip DeFranco raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for them, and they blew through almost all of it. Almost all of it. And that was that was fair use. That's my point with this. It's so unbelievably expensive to do these lawsuits. And at the end of the day, is it going to stop?
Well, that's where these companies, if anyone's going to do it, Blizzard needs to do it.
Well, they did in 2014, and clearly nothing came from it. I mean, this is a 2014 article from the BBC. Blizzard sues StarCraft 2 cheat hackers. I don't know. I don't have a chance to scrolling through the story. I don't have a chance to read it. But I mean, if it works so well, people in Battlegrounds wouldn't be making cheats right now. So I'm going to guess probably Blizzard. But again,
there's only been one. So I think if they can
No, I bet you
If
it's
they
been
can
tried
get it
before.
set. Yeah, but I mean, if they can get a couple of the big ones to win, it would allow for some smaller groups to then go and do it as well, because they can just go in and say, "Here, look, it was proven in this case." I think that it opens the door to allow to where it doesn't have to be a Blizzard and it doesn't have to be an Epic to win a case.
Now, what would be very cool, and I know some people are probably not interested in this, but I think it's a good discussion to have. What would be very cool would to see the game industry as a whole come together and stop this stuff. It would be very interesting to see Blizzard and Blizzard Activision, same company, EA, Ubisoft, Microsoft, and Sony, everybody come together. And again, I don't know what you can't class action a whole bunch of individual hackers, but for them to collectively come together and maybe pull their resources together so that when something like this does come up, there's money there for it. That would be something useful. But especially Epic Games.
Do you think they'll ever take it to this? Do you think they'll ever take it to the level? I mean, you look at what, even with software. Remember when downloading movies, like they had these cases where they were, or even music, like they were having these ones where they were doing huge fines. That kind of died off, but for a while they're going in and suing grandmothers for what, tens of thousands of dollars.
I mean, I did a term paper on this in college. I mean, okay, so great. They sued a whole bunch of people. Do I still illegally download stuff? Maybe. Do you? Maybe. I mean, sites like the Pirate Bay still exist. Go look at go search for a copy of Windows 10 on the Pirate Bay and look at how many people are seeding it. Clearly it didn't work. It didn't stop the people from doing it. I mean, it's just in my opinion, it's just a little naive to sit here and just say, oh, they're going to stop the cheaters by naming 2 people in the lawsuit. So if there's only 2 people cheating, then how are they banning 6,000 people a day? It's just, I don't know.
Well, and my concern is that they turn around and try to turn this into something that's similar to, and I don't support cheaters, but I'm worried that they try to turn this around and treat it in the same way that they treat like child porn on the internet. Those are very different things. Like a company's loss of finances is not the same kind of loss or damage that's done in that. But the concern is if you get enough behind this, that they turn around and all of a sudden are treating it as the same amount of damages. You're costing this company, they'll go after those individual cheaters, which, I mean, that would be fine, but these are real people. I mean, there's probably a lot of these are just stupid kids, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'd like it for them to go in and just do crazy things to be able to end this, but I don't want it to end up like it did with music and with movies for a while, to where they're just randomly suing people, whoever happens to be caught in the fishnet, suing them for ridiculous amounts of money when that's not solving the problem. So,
no, exactly.
Well, and not all these PH saying, stupid kids paying $1,000 for cheats. Not all these cheats are $1,000.
$35.
Some of these you can just find on the internet. The ones that are exclusive, and probably some streamers that the names of, are the ones paying $1,000 for cheats.
And
just to be honest.
Well, of course, to be honest. And then the other thing that is just so important with this, it's not about you said this was 2 individuals. I didn't have a chance to read the article. 2 individuals.
Yeah, two individuals that create cheats.
So they named 2 individuals in their lawsuit. Getting those 2 individuals is not the goal. It's for the future, enticing people to not create the cheats. Exactly. Epic could give a shit about these 2 people. It's about setting the precedent that you should not be cheating in our game, because if you do, there's possible consequences. These 2 people aren't worth a damn to Epic. They really don't care about these 2 people. It's about what's the word I'm looking for? Not disadvantaging. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It's to not entice people to go and create these cheats or to go and buy these cheats. Because there's a potential fines, but clearly that didn't work with piracy. I mean, piracy is still huge, so it didn't work. Why is it going to work now?
If you look at a lot of the reasons that if you go to courts around the country, a lot of the reasons that cases are brought against people where they're throwing the book at them is not because that specific case was bad. It's because they want to set a precedence to other people that are doing the same thing or looking at doing the same thing as those people, so that they're less likely to do it. So they'll throw the book at a few people and say, all right, look, this person got 20 years in prison.
Yeah.
Is it worth it to you to do this?
Yeah.
Or they can get someone to plead because they say someone else did this and they got 20 years, and they'll get them to negotiate or whatever. A lot of it is just about setting that precedence. And I think that here they're trying to do that, and, maybe they will.
I doubt it. I've seen too many of these. So, these internet lawsuits, these online lawsuits.
I think they need to go after him financially, because that's the thing, is this is probably two guys just doing something stupid.
Probably a couple college kids.
Don't throw them in prison for 20 years or give them 20-year sentences for something like this. Make a big fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, make a huge fine and put them on probation, and they'll be paying it off, and they'll have learned their lesson.
Yeah, PHs that were going for drugs surely scared everybody out. Again, it's the same example. I know that there's difference, and Judd is telling me about Pirate Bay being different. No, again, it's not the individual. It's the as a whole. Oh, I'm not. Now I'm not going to write cheats now because Joe Blow in North Carolina got fined $1 million. That's the goal. It's not to just shut these two people down. That's not the goal.
You have the risk of losing more than what you're able to gain, and that's a lot of what it comes down to. Is there's a chance that you will lose more than you have the possibility of making if you get caught. Yeah. And that's what the whole drug war is about. That's what all these things are, a very similar concept, but they're just trying to make it so that the risk is not worth the reward. And right now the reward is worth the risk because there's really no punishment at the moment.
Yeah.
So all these people just do it. They just make it. And I think that they're trying to set that risk at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So being that we're still talking about Battlegrounds.
Yes. Wow.
This was actually something that was suggested by Chris as well. He asked me, he said, "Did you see a movie called Battle Royale?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And I went and watched it.
Oh, really?
And this is
how did you watch it?
This is well, it's out of Japan, so I called my local Japanese friend and said, "Can you send me a copy of this?" Okay.
Yeah.
And the thing is this film, the original Battle Royale was based on this movie.
The mod?
From Brandon.
Yeah, the original mod is based on this.
Is based on this film. Okay, what did they call the original H1Z1 for what King of the Kill used to be? What did it used to be called?
It was called Battle Royale, but it was PlayerUnknown's Battle Royale.
PlayerUnknown's Battle Royale. Why do you think they changed the name of Battle Royale?
I have no idea.
Because Brandon didn't come up with the name. It's from this movie.
Yeah, though that's fine. That's fine and dandy, but I mean, their legal team would have sorted that out before they named it that. I mean, that's the thing. Battle Royale's not a...
No, they don't. That's the thing that's what I'm saying.
This movie's been out since the year 2000.
But it's a not well-known Japanese
Doesn't
film.
matter if it's well-known.
Only in Japanese.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of irrelevant. I mean, the thing is, a Battle Royale is, I don't think is a cop. I don't think they have the word Battle Royale.
But
copyright.
But the thing is, the weapons, the outfits, the logo, everything is identical.
According to this, there's a novel from 1999, a couple movies,
and then the movie was based on the movie the novel.
Plus, there was a game, Pac-Man Battle Royale was out in 2011. PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale was a 2012 fishing game. There's some songs by the name Battle Royale. I doubt that. That seems very unlikely. But I mean,
very unlikely what?
That's the reason they changed the name.
But I'm saying they didn't have legal rights to name it that.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
And
man, I wish we had our lawyer
use the same font and logo and everything.
Okay.
So, what I'm saying is he based it very much, the mod, very much on this movie. And even the game is still based very much on this movie. Because for him, it's kind of, I think it was more of, he really enjoyed the movie and he made a game that matched it.
Yeah. Well,
right?
Yeah.
If you look, like that logo that says Battle Royale, it's got the exact same weapons that they have in PUBG.
You're right.
It's got the same outfits that they have in PUBG.
You're absolutely right.
And so I thought it was interesting because I hadn't seen this. And so I think that, for him, it's kind of just like Fortnite is an homage, right? Is something that's kind of we liked that game so much, we made something to kind of honor it, right?
Yeah.
He did the same thing with this movie. And we've always wondered, well, why doesn't he go after these people that are making a game very, that's so similar to his? Well, he didn't. This isn't his concept in the first place.
Well, according to Angus in chat and PH, Brandon said in multiple interviews it's based off this movie, which I mean is fine.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. I'm not saying that he. I'm not saying he ever. I didn't say he didn't do anything wrong.
Again, there's nothing illegal. There's nothing illegal about that. Again, you can obviously you can't rip it off directly. Again, I haven't seen the movie, so but you can't.
I mean, but okay. So and I think that I don't the film was so kind of cult in itself that I don't think that they're looking at it and saying, "Oh, you're infringing on us." I think they probably realized that this is, we really like the movie, and so this is a game that's in honor of this movie.
The fact that Battlegrounds is so successful now could
that he maybe want to be worried, and he may have already reached out to the people he needs to or gotten releases. Who knows? I mean, I don't know any insight on it.
Yeah, I mean,
but it would have been wise for him to do that.
Well, I mean, and this is the other thing too. Again, the show's off the rails. Whatever. I don't care at this point. It would not be worth this movie company to sue Brandon over a stupid Arma 2 mod that he was developing on the side. That would have been useless. No point. Now, you've got a game that has got 2 million plus people playing it concurrently. It's all about the money, folks. That's all. Everything we talk about. Isn't that so funny, Brian? Every issue we talk about comes down to money. Now that there's some money there, he may have opened himself up for a lawsuit. I have no idea.
When originally it was an honor to it, and now and I don't know. I would assume that he would have contacted them and say, "Hey, I really liked your film, and this is just an honor, whatever." But this is the thing.
I hope he didn't do that, because that would absolutely lose him the lawsuit if that was to be subpoenaed in court.
But the thing is, they could take those interviews. They could take this image, which shows the exact same weapon that's not very common. Like, you just don't see it. I mean, that's exact same hand weapons that are inside of the game. Even the outfits, you can see there's some outfits that have the kind of suit thing, which is in the movie. I don't know. I mean, he didn't match it. Not everything is not identical.
I need to watch this movie.
In the movie, they have it to where, those things on the neck. Well, I don't want to give away the movie to you. It's worth the watch. I mean, I enjoyed it very much. There's a number 2 that I might watch as well. Yeah, I would check it out. And I don't know, who knows what the relationship is between him and this film, whoever released this film back in back in 2000. But I think this is why we haven't heard anybody saying, all right, how can you take the concept of battle royale? Well, I think this is why he said, when they got mad at Fortnite, it wasn't because they copied the game at all, right? They were just concerned about Epic's relationship. And this is what he said: Epic's relationship with them after having a competing product.
Hot takes.
Right? I mean, that was the concern.
Yeah. I mean, this is a deep conversation to have. This is I'm sure there are people that have tuned this out. I apologize, but these are deep, important conversations to be had, because all of this stuff rounds up and wraps up. It all does. And there are legitimate, I mean, again, you can't just take somebody's concept or idea without proper consent. That is illegal. That is copyright infringement.
If he didn't go to them and somehow get a release, it would be very easily proven
probably
that this was not his concept.
Now the question is, who the hell owns the movie? Are they still in business? Can they still sue? I mean, I don't know who made this movie. I mean, is the director's dead. He's been dead since 2003.
It's whoever owns the rights to it. So I mean, if some studio owns the rights to it,
yeah. I mean, there's just that's the thing. Is the question is how much is this worth? As PH and Gallo are saying, it's
Yep.
down too deep. You're down the rabbit trail.
Yep.
Talking,
and this movie had a budget of $4.5 million, and they could be looking at Battle Royale. They made way more than that.
well, true, but nevertheless, it'll. But again, this was based off the movie, so. Or excuse me, this is based
AM
off.
Associates.
This is based off a book, though.
Yeah. Well, and so actually, the book writer could be the person who possibly.
I mean, that's my point. Is it's like these things don't stand up. I mean, there's just could something potentially happen? Yes, now because there's a target on Battle Royale, and on the game because it's successful. I mean, you only get a target on your head once you're successful. Nobody cares about you making a mod for Arma 2, but when your company is making bank, and the good thing is Brandon is not the owner of the game, which is good in his part because he's not going to get sued.
Yeah,
it'll be Bluehole getting sued, and they've got money to deal with things like that.
I'm just curious what.
And again,
I'm just curious what happened with H1Z1 if they realized going into the relationship that they probably didn't have rights to that name because they're very big into that.
Well, but here's the thing though, and here's the other thing to note, Brian. At the time, H1Z1 was owned by SOE. Sony, I would say, has got some of the best lawyers, attorneys in the world. I mean, Sony is a massive corporation. These things were looked at by corporate attorneys, and these things were looked at. So it's not like they're like, oh shit, like we found on Wikipedia that we copied the name. Like when you're naming the game, your attorneys look at stuff like that. So I sound like a legal expert. I only play one on the radio,
on the internet.
On the Infection Podcast and the Crummy Show. But I mean, somebody looked at this. They just didn't go, oh, we're gonna call it whatever the hell, and it's not gonna be a problem.
And this is something PH saying only if you blatantly copy something, and I would say that this is a blatant copy. I would say that Battle Royale or PUBG is a blatant copy, and I'm not saying it's wrong, and I'm not saying that he's wrong, but I'd say it is a blatant copy of the concepts that are in Battle Royale, down to the outfits, down to the weapons. Blatant copy. And so that's why I don't think you'll ever see him ever going after someone else saying, you've taken my concept, because I don't think he has the ground to stand on that.
No, absolutely.
I don't think he ever will. And he's I've never seen him say that in the first place. So I'm not saying there's anything he's done that's wrong, but I just don't see that ever happening now. So.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Well,
anyways, I just thought that was interesting. Definitely worth checking out the movie. It is interesting. It is
that's copyrighted
subtitled. Well, it's subtitled, so you have to read everything. But it was a good movie. Didn't feel super cheap. It was a very interesting concept. So
Gadlaw says law degree
here. They have a case.
Well, it'll be interesting. Yep. I don't know. I'm not sure if Gadlaw actually has a law degree, but I'm sure there's a case somewhere. Here's the thing: you can get away with it until you get caught. Same thing with speeding.
But
don't speed in front of a cop and you'll be fine. I mean, it's the same argument.
But that's the thing is he may have some sort of arrangement. I mean, he may have contacted them and gotten a release. I mean, it'd be interesting. It may come out someday. Who knows? But I just thought that was interesting that it was so, because I never had seen this film before, had no idea that it existed. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh man, there's all these things they're in the game now, and just seeing all the artwork and everything else. And I'm fine with that. As long as this group, and it's not like this Japanese company was ever going to make a video game.
Of course. And that's part of what you'd have to prove. All right, we got to get off this, Brian. This was a very good conversation. I really hope people enjoyed it. It seemed like the chat enjoyed it. I mean, we talk about people being engaged. The chat was lit up during that conversation. So hopefully everybody enjoyed the conversation there. We'll continue to follow these things. This will be an ongoing thing. So we'll continue to follow these, and thanks.
I always try. That's why I try to kind of find the deeper story to these things, because there's a lot of stuff going on there on behind the scenes that you don't really realize. I mean, I think I was one of the first person who really caught the fact that China was the primary. I mean, No, it was a surprise to Reddit, right? when I brought it up, the H1Z1 was primarily Chinese.
It's breaking news.
So, and it's because I just took the time to go and look for it. Right?
Because you made an account on a website and screenshot.
I made an account on a website and looked at the numbers and I'm like, wait a minute, these are all Chinese. And like no one had said it.
Wait a minute, what's going on here?
You're all the Chinese here.
Whoa.
Whoa. And so that's the thing is, and so, yeah, so I went and said it on Reddit and I figured, if something happened, it's got to be on Reddit. And everybody's like, what? Whoa, look at this. This is crazy. So this, Chris brought it up to me. I never had seen it before. So I figured we bring it up here. And I think that it's interesting. And I think it explains some of the answers of things we've been asking in the past couple of weeks. Well, why didn't they go after Fortnite? Because of the concept. Well, they didn't go after the
because then they'd really screw themselves.
Because then be like, oh, well, wait a minute. You didn't come, because Fortnite would turn around and be like, or Epic would be like, well, wait a minute, you didn't even come up with that. And so then, it would be,
I feel like what's happened on this episode is that we are 25 videos deep into conspiracy theories at this point on YouTube. This is a late
the next
night
layer of the onion.
This is a late night, lot of coffee, conspiracy theories, WordPress blogs, Blogspot, and Twitter. That's where we're at right now. We are
we're trying to figure out, well, here's why this didn't happen. This didn't happen because
we're proving that the victims were actors.
Yes.
That's what's going on at this point. We are very
there
deep.
Was a second shooter. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm not going into that, but we are very deep in the conspiracy theory on this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the conversation. If you have any comments, which clearly our chat did, and we thank everybody for chiming in on those at InfectionCast, or you can say your negative emails if you want to do that to Brian at InfectionPodcast.com.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right.
So let's go and do the first giveaway here.
Yeah.
Exclamation point giveaway.
Yes.
And we're giving away first a copy of Oaklos. And I assume that that's the pronunciation. I'll put a link here to the Steam page if you want to check that out. And this is, let's see, hopefully it'll pull up here. This is a game that I'm not getting it here right now. I don't know if Steam's down. But anyways, we'll I don't remember what it's about, but it looked like an interesting game.
Great game.
Yeah, it's worth getting. I'll pull it up here so I can see it. Okay. Oaklos Omega. All right, it's a $12.99 game right now. This is an indie action strategy pixel graphics game. It's been out here for about 2 years, but it's worth $12.99 at the moment. So I think this is one that was given to us. I think it might have been by Firebomb, if I remember correctly. So thank you very much. And it has very positive ratings right now. It's this is one of the ones done by Devolver Digital. So they put out a number of games, a lot of the pixel style games. So,
all right. Where do we want to go from here? Do we want to like debunk UFOs or Bigfoot or something like that? I mean, where do we go from here?
All right, so let's go ahead and jump to H1Z1 just to make sure we have time, because
yes,
I don't know how much time we're going to have today.
Yeah, we've got about 40 minutes or so left.
So speaking of names, video game names, I'd mentioned, well, maybe they didn't have the rights to Battle Royale, and so after Brandon left, they didn't want to hold on to that. H1Z1, well, King of the Kill has changed its name. So it's no longer King of the Kill.
Okay.
It is now called H1Z1.
Okay.
Again.
Okay.
So it was originally H1Z1, right?
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, we have two games here. They split it. So they had H1Z1 Just Survive, and then, well, they had H1Z1, and then they had H1Z1 King of the Kill. So then H1Z1 changed to H1Z1 Just Survive.
Correct.
Right? And now H1Z1 King of the Kill can go back to H1Z1 and take the original name.
Yeah, I mean, this is just another fantastic example of the sheer incompetency over at Daybreak.
Yeah. H1Z, so now this is named what the original survival game that we purchased was.
Here's here's the important thing to note with this. It doesn't matter what they call it. It matters what the people call it. People are always going to refer to H1Z1 as H1Z1. Like they've called it King of the Kill for what is it? It's been over a year, right? Like it's been a while.
Yeah. Well, okay. So remember, what was the original Just Survive Reddit? Like, what was Just Survive until it just changed recently?
Reddit.com r H1Z1.
And now it's that again. King of the Kill is now the old Just Survive Reddit.
Jesus, what are they doing?
So,
oh my God,
so yeah,
I'm so confused.
That's the thing is, so they had to change Just Survive because King of the Kill wanted the /H1Z1 subreddit. So they had to change Just Survive.
I got something. This H1Z1 logo looks very similar to the one that Lance printed us up. I would say
it's gone back. It's gone back to the original logo.
No, the one that Lance sent us. The one that Lance sent us. That's not the one Lance sent us. That's the one that we made. Remember the ones he sent with just the big H1Z1 logo on the front?
It's back there as well.
Do you have it? Can you go get that?
Yeah. Do you want to change
yes, I do. Yeah, it's fine. Because our good friend Lance Landgun in the chat sent us, when we were complaining that how H1Z1 wouldn't send us anything, he just sent us a shirt with the H1Z1 logo on it and his Twitch channel on the back. He sent us that. And I thought it was great. It was fantastic. And it was just the regular H1Z1 logo. And as Brian Aldridge steps back up to the microphone, Brian, how close was I? It looks very...
So we now have a King of the Kill logo.
It's the exact same font. Look, hold on.
So we now have a King of the Kill shirt.
All right.
We're that up to date that we have the logo that they just came out this week. We have a printed copy of it already.
All right. Sure. I'm going to try some real screwed up stuff here. There we look at that. Hold it up. It's the same day. We have the original. We have the original. We are the OGs. Now, where did my camera go is the real question. There we go. We have the OG H1Z1 logo now. Just saying.
It's just crazy how it's like they disown Just Survive that much to where they're like, well, we don't really want Just Survive anymore. We want King of the Kill to be the original release. And now everything has gone back to where King of the Kill is now everything that the original one was as far as marketing and names and everything. But it's like they've just created a whole nother game called Just Survive.
But the whole thing here is it's all about what the public is going to call it. For example, if Battlegrounds changed their name today to shootergame.exe, everybody would call it PUBG. It would always be called PUBG. That's never going to change. That nickname, PUBG, will be, even if they get the shit suit out of them by this Japanese game company, everybody will refer to it as PUBG. It will always be PUBG. It doesn't matter what they do. They can change their website, social media, the logo. Doesn't matter. It's going to be PUBG. I'm going to call it PUBG. You're going to call it PUBG. Everybody is going to call it PUBG because that's the nickname. H1Z1 is always going to be H1Z1. Just Survive, it doesn't matter. It's H1Z1. This is beyond stupid. Yep. This is what they're spending their time on.
Yep. And this is the thing is, are they going to now not refer to it? So it's not referred to King of the Kill anymore? Like that
name is gone?
Everybody now calls it King of the Kill.
Yeah, they finally just got people to start calling it King of the Kill. And now it's just they want H1Z1, which is what we don't call it Just Survive. We call that H1Z1. And the reason behind this is because the next thing they're getting into a new. They're trying to push this into esports. It's clear that they've been trying to do that. They've done that. TBS. They did a tournament on TBS. They do TwitchCon. They do their own thing. What do you call the Call of Duty tournaments, Brian? COD. What do you call the League of Legends tournament, Brian? It's a LOL tournament. It's the acronym. Yeah. H1Z1 is a very good acronym. KOTK is not a good acronym. H1Z1 KOTK.
But the thing is what's H1Z1 have to do with this game?
It doesn't.
There's no zombies in it. It has nothing to do with the virus.
I don't like your negativity.
Well, I'm just saying it has nothing to do with it.
No, it doesn't.
H1Z1 has zero to do with the whole game. H1Z1 is the virus that caused the outbreak in the zombies. There are 0 zombies in this.
It doesn't matter. That's not the point.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's stupid.
Yeah, I agree. It's stupid. And again, the fact.
Oh, wait. What? Okay, here's something in here. What do you think they had an issue with having the word kill in the name? They mentioned in this, and they actually said, we're also working to ensure that H1Z1 can be enjoyed by players around the world. China. And having the word kill in the name of the game can be limiting with some global audiences. China.
You're right.
Are they trying to get unblocked by China?
Wow. Wait, hold on. Wait. I've got it. This is it. I'm all out with the soundboard.
It all comes down to them doing everything they can to get back into China, where all their player base was.
Brian, you've opened my eyes. You have shown me who the real killer is in this. You are the last YouTube video while the night ends. You have just cracked open the cold case. That's literally the reason. They said it in their damn blog post. It's because all players. Oh, you mean 90% of your players from China? Yes, you mean China?
It can be limiting for some global audiences. China. Why don't they just say it?
Remember when I said China?
The word name kill in there. China. What?
Do you remember when I said China?
Oh, yeah, during the interview?
Yeah.
They went like, what?
Yeah, it was like, what's up with all the people from China hacking?
About China. We love China. China's our best friend.
China.
I mean, they didn't want us talking bad about China at all. But that's the thing is, this is them making a move to be able to not be blacklisted on China's streaming sites.
Rage says next month H1Z will change its name to China #1.
It should. Not H1Z1, China #1.
Z.
Chinese. Yeah. Anyways.
So
that's what it comes down to.
That's the news this week for H1Z1? Is the name change? Like that's what we have to talk about? I mean, come on, really? Like,
and I have some, okay.
I know, but I know.
They're asking for Reddit mods. So
what happened to Stairway?
Anyone wants?
Is he still a Reddit mod?
I don't know. Let me look at I know Hanny still is.
Oh, that's good. Hanny's a good friend of ours.
Yeah. So no, I don't see him on there anymore.
He is. He's Mr. High. That's him. Yeah, he is still on there.
Oh, is he on there? Okay.
Correct. Well, there you go. So if you want to
be
sure? Reddit, I'm positive that's him. Yeah, that's him. Pascal Mr. High.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and he is also So he's working, and I think Battlegrounds. So
coolio. We got our inside. Let's do the game giveaway.
All right, so let's go ahead and E-Man came in at the last second. All right, so we'll go ahead and roll for this.
Hey,
Nissan.
Yeah, I'd recommend. I'd recommend a re-roll on that.
Okay, because I don't see him playing that game. All right, so we'll do this one more time. It's broken.
There we go.
There we go. Angus.
Congratulations.
Angus. Congratulations.
Yes. Who gave great feedback during the Battlegrounds law conversation. So we appreciate you tuning in.
So very good. I will send you. I'll send you the key for that here in a little bit, and it'll be in your other messages. That seems to be where it goes. So
Amnon's going to start his own game giveaway.
Amnon's collecting. Yeah, he's collecting these games to sell
or give away on Sunday morning.
Yeah, he can give away on his show. All right. Now what? Because there's a few things. I did have some images. Did you show some of those images for the new weight screens inside of H1Z1? Deacon would have felt bad if he.
I'm sorry. I just got totally distracted. I was watching something. Okay. Yeah.
So there's some images in there. It just shows some of the new, and this kind of shows the new art style. And I don't know, like you could tell they took an actor, had him jump, and then they sketched what the actor looked like, because there's just some stupid.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this to load up properly. There we go. These screens. Yeah, these. Yeah.
It looks nothing like the game, which is what drives me crazy. Make something that resembles the game somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's unbelievable.
The outfit, like all the stuff looks nothing like the game. So I don't remember that weapon. That's not what the sniper rifle looks like, at least not the barrel.
No.
So, yeah. And so that frustrates me when they make a concept and they're like, oh, look at what our game looks like. And it looks nothing like it. And then there should be, I think, 2 more
Yes, sir.
images in there. Another one. I mean, look at that. Who runs like that? First of all,
I mean, that's your
no
criticism.
female looks like that in the game. I mean, it's just.
I mean, look at her hair. It's like
look at her hair. Look nothing like that in the game.
Curls.
Look at the stuff on her.
Yeah.
Look at the weapon that's on her, taped to her leg.
It's got a freaking.
Nowhere is it like that.
It's got a freaking flashlight on it.
It's got a machete.
The gun is a flashlight, a mag light.
She's got a gun with a flashlight, which is nothing like what the game looks like. There's things on her hips that are extra clips. There's bullet loops.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all this stuff that doesn't exist in the game, and they're putting them in here. Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Oh my god!
I just like if it's something you're gonna do, great. But the game looks nothing like this.
Firebomb says maybe it's coming. I mean.
They're not going to make the characters look like that. It looks nothing like any of the characters.
Yeah, dual wielding too. Dual wielding.
Yeah, he's got a shotgun in one hand. He's got a pistol in the other hand. He's got another gun on his back, and he's got a thing of 30 shotgun shells or 100. I don't know how many shotgun shells there are around his body.
So frustrating. And again, here's the thing. I don't want to harp on this stuff, but why? Like, why would you release? Okay. All right, here we go. I need a Nick's rant jingle. Why would you release images like this that are never, and when I say never, I mean never going to look like this in game? Brian, I will go and bury myself 10 feet under if the game looks like this. This looks like a live freaking action movie. The game is never going to look like that. No game looks like that. I'm playing a freaking... What game am I playing right now? The Last of Us? The Last of Us doesn't even look like that. And that's a single-player story game created by Naughty Dog. What in the hell are they thinking with this image?
Well, and this is an issue too. So we had Arklager. He put out a tweet saying there's some really big things coming that are going to be announced soon for King of the Kill, like really big, and that we're going to be so stoked. And I just said, you know, I don't remember exactly. Oh yeah, he says, all right. So Arklager said, press 1 if you always believed in H1. TwitchCon is about to blow y'all minds. Woke 1Z1. And I replied on our account. I'm sorry if you don't agree with this. I said you will blow my mind when you implement DirectX 12 support.
Did you tag it at least with your name?
Of course. No, I just said
you're a bad person. You're just as bad as the cheaters.
Yeah, and so like, what are they going to do that's going to blow our minds on King of the Kill or H1Z1? Sorry, H1Z1 now.
Again, and I feel the need to say this more now than ever. This show's totally off the rails. I loved and still love H1Z1. Like, it's the reason that I'm still here every Tuesday night talking to Brian because of H1Z1. Let's bring it back to our roots here, Brian. Because the reason we're here is because of H1Z1. We want H1Z1 to succeed. But how many freaking times have we heard big news coming with H1Z1? Big news. Soon freaking TM. Like, I'm sick of the cryptic bullshit. How about you just release something that works and people want to play?
Yeah, well, I mean, how are they going to blow our minds? What are they going to do? They'll release that weapon loop that'll be a skin that you can wear. I don't
understand.
What are they going to do? Are they going to put a flashlight on? They're going to have a night mode where they put a flashlight on there. I mean,
PH says all these name changes remind me of War Z. War Z had this exact same problem. That game was called like 50 different things. I don't know if you ever played War Z. That's an old school game. That's like 2011.
I never played it, but I've read about
2012, 2011. That's old school stuff. And it is the exact same thing as War Z. So frustrating. Why? Brian, close your eyes with me. If I could just wish, just wish That they would just focus on gameplay. You can open your eyes.
Making it a better game.
Yeah, just gameplay and like things that actually matter. Like how much time do you think was spent in boardrooms concepting that? Or that? Or that? Yeah. How much time was spent concepting this? I mean,
well, and that's the thing is
what do I benefit?
They arched it up.
What the hell do I benefit from those?
They want that to be so. I think what they want is that when you play the game, you know how sometimes in a lot, this used to be like, you could say World of Warcraft, they had all those cutscenes that had really high quality graphics, and they want it to be when you're playing that game in your mind, you're kind of putting it there. Like you're imagining to yourself while you're doing this, that it looks like that in your head when it never will.
No,
I mean, Firebomb's making a joke. He's like, well, maybe they finally, maybe they've taken my idea to heart and actually changed engines. They would blow my mind if that's what they were doing.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be going to TwitchCon and saying, hey, we're going to restart the entire game. That doesn't seem like that would be a good... I mean, again, if they did do that, we would absolutely have to eat crow right now. But I just don't think that's going to happen. Brian,
just imagine.
How much... You want to do a little bet?
I know. I can bet you they're not going to change engines.
How much you want to bet? You want to put $10 on it?
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, no, that means I'm on. No, I don't want to be on that side though. Hold on, no, never mind. No, I'm not interested in this.
So I get $10 if they don't change.
No, I don't like this bet. This bet doesn't work. Out. See, the thing is, you'd have to give me like very high odds, so that if it did happen, you have to give me like $100. Would you give me 10 to 1 odds?
Okay.
So if I'm right,
I mean, do you really want to give me $10?
I'll give you $10 if they don't, but you have to give me 10 to 1 odds. You have to give me $100 if they change the engine.
So if they change engines,
I get $100. I have 10 to 1 odds.
I'm trying to think in my head, what's the chances of them actually announcing Forge Light 2? What are the chances? It's so rare.
PH
Is
says
it worth $100 to me?
The PH says RPG Maker 2012 confirmed. This is the post show, folks.
Sorry. This is a taste of the post show.
This is the post show. We're
almost out of the show. Do you see how many other games that I have notes for?
Yeah, it's really bad. This is not the week.
We've touched almost a quarter of our notes.
We've touched 3 games. We talked about 3 games.
Yeah,
we're not doing this.
We've been skipped. Like we didn't talk about Elite Dangerous.
Yeah. All right. So let's move past this. Yeah.
Let's touch. Okay, so the Pro League for H1Z1. They've announced a Pro League
by Twin Galaxies
that they're doing.
And interestingly enough, for some reason, Twin Galaxies has really hitched their trailer to H1Z1. There's a lady we follow on Twitter. I don't remember what her name is. It starts with an M, and she previously did some PR stuff with H1Z1. She now does it with Twin Galaxies, and I believe she's doing it with Twin Galaxies working for this new Pro League thing.
And they were doing those streams on the weeks where like people were coming in and
every Thursday night,
and they were giving away all those prizes and everything else. Like they've kind of owned that. I just don't see where this Pro League, I mean, it's not going to turn into CSGO teams. It's not going to be
I don't think so.
It's just, I don't know where they're going to go. It's just going to be like their own internal league. They're not going to have money flying around like these other ones do. Cause maybe, but I think they're trying to create it. I think these guys are putting money into this, hoping that it turns into, like an investment for them.
Well, and to some respect it is. I mean, we had this esports conversation probably 30 episodes ago. Maybe even longer than that. Well, it was right around the time that they did that event with TBS, where they did the H1Z1 Kingfest or King of the Kill Fest or something. I don't remember what exactly they called it. But we had this. I mean, esports is blowing up, Brian. It's on television.
Yep.
The freaking ESPN has a part. You can go to their website and sort by sports, and esports is listed as a sport on ESPN's website. I mean, there is definitely a market there, and I guess this is them investing into the future and seeing if it takes off. Somebody's got to be. I mean, there's got to be somebody working on it.
The guys behind this, channel. Like they have esports teams.
Yes, they do.
I think for other things as well. So I think they're just really trying to, and they probably get some sort of kickback from H1Z1, trying to make this happen. Guaranteed access to the tournaments. I mean, everything. Like I'm sure that there's lots of stuff going behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly all, but nevertheless, Pro League is out. You can head over to h1pl.com. There's some information on here. They announced it on the 11th. The league conference is on the 20th. The application window is the 23rd. And then the first the first team announcement is in Q1 of 2018. League play starts Q2 of 2018. So that's still, we're Q4 of 2017. We're still pretty far off from that. But
yep.
But that's the dealio right now.
Cool. All right. So should I just like skim just?
We got about 15 minutes.
Flip notes versions.
Okay. I'll just do numbers for PUBG. So we'll just do that.
No, you're fine. You can do whatever you want.
We'll just do quick 2 minutes at the end of the show.
Just Survive had a test update. We won't go. We've covered some of it before already. Because I know we've talked about some of these new weapons.
Yes, we
have like Special 44. We've covered this somewhere, but this is on test now. They've added a walkie-talkie with radio support, which hopefully this is better than the last one. But this is something that I know we brought up a long time ago, and they were actually in our chat talking about it. And I think they based it off of suggestions. So
yeah, they based off your suggestions.
And they actually, I was like, it needs to have this many channels because this is a CB rate, and they actually changed it. So, so anyway, so they're adding a tier 2 helmet. So they've got a lot of new things they've added. This is in test. So you'll have to be on the test mode or test server, have that, the one you're downloading, to be able to see this. Probably roll out to live here in the next week or two, I'm sure. So, so that's Just Survive. If you want to do that, we'll have a link in the show notes. Friday the 13th has their new Jarvis map.
Yes, they do.
And so this one is one that we played a bit, and it has that Jarvis house, which has a lot of detail in it. One thing I did like the variety of the maps. A lot of them are kind of similar maps, but it was nice not playing the same map every time. So, and then also they're on here a new counselor, which we were concerned about. I don't know if they're going to have it out by Halloween, but we were saying, hey, wait, you can't be one counselor. It's got to be two counselors. New counselor. So they've already done the one. This would be the second one. She didn't make it into this patch, but she'll be in. Wait for it. So next patch, they should be having this next counselor in there.
And they made a great joke.
So they may be making their goal.
They made a great joke on Twitter. They literally had a graphic. Firebomb, if you were still in chat, if you could pull it up. They literally said something, and it literally said soon TM on it. It was hilarious. Yep. And that, you know what?
It says it on this one.
Wait, which one is it? Is it in the?
It's the tweet. It's the tweet that I have as the second.
Okay, yeah, that's it then.
Coming soon. TM.
Yes, yeah, I just found that hilarious. Again, while I don't think these guys are necessarily the most professional, they're not, and that's not what they're going for. That soon TM that's hilarious. I'm all for soon TM because it's just the epitome of early access.
So they're getting that list done. They're doing pretty good so far. So we got to give them some credit. They're actually getting patches out. This is the second counselor. If they can get it out for Halloween, we'll have to look at the list and see. We'll have to look at that graphic they had and see what they've gotten. We'll have to see how much longer we can actually trash Friday the 13th.
That's true.
And then Life is Feudal came out with a number of updates. We won't go into it deeply, but if you are playing that game, they had 1.35.0 and 1.35.6. A lot of it, the 1.35.0 was fixing a dupe bug that they had. The 1.36 one was mainly doing a lot of balancing for horses and things like that. And so if you play that game, we'll have the link to the show notes for that, or the patch notes for that. Also Unturned, they added a bicycle to 3.20. Sorry, I'm just going through these quick because we have very little time. 3.20.9.0, and then added a hotbar to show hotkeyed items. There's an option there to be able to disable it. Other than that, it was fixes. So there'll be a bicycle now in Unturned, which we should be playing here in the next couple of weeks, I think. Now, Miscreated came out with a big patch. This is update number 53. The big thing that they fixed in this was that floating base bug. Remember, he brought that up when he was on our show, the original interview that we did. They brought up the floating base bug. That's been a long-standing issue, the floating base bug. And so they fixed that in this. And then they had they added a lot of fixes. They added some base building parts, which made me happy because that's where it's really lacking, is being able to really do base building. So they added wooden stair parts, columns. They added sandbag parts. They added, let's see, 2 new base building guides for different types of stairs. And so, yeah, you can go in there and hopefully they'll get to where there's storage, because that's the big thing I think they're still missing.
Yes, it is.
It's store. I mean, you can make a big base, but if you can't store anything in it, it's not really worth.
And the way that you do it right now is you need a blueprint, which is extremely rare. And then once you get the blueprint, you can do it, but it's very hard to find that blueprint. And if you don't have it, you're pretty much SOL, because you can't. You literally have 1 box per base.
Yeah, you can put like 10 items in your base, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
They added a large rucksack, so a bigger backpack that you can carry around. And I think that was the main things. So yeah, I mean, for Halloween, there's going to be a craftable pumpkin hat that you can wear, and a jack-o'-lantern that you can put in your bases. Pumpkin items have been added. So if you want to get some of the Halloween looking things in there, you can put that in. But yeah, then that's a lot of fixes. So they are still working on it. They did on the map. They optimized some of the buildings, but then they also added new water types. So they have clean water, poison water, puddle, radiation, and salty water. So you probably have to purify waters at that point. And then they have added a new villa, and they added beehives. So new stuff going in there. Anyway, so that's miscreated. After that, they added a 58 or a 53A, which was just a number of hot fixes. So that was just a fix afterwards. Rust we'll skip this week, but we will have a video in there. I'm assuming we're skipping it.
Yeah. We'll skip past that.
We'll have a link. It's to the devblog 181 and the video. So if you want to check that out, We Happy Few put out a new journal, and there are 2 weeks until content complete. I mainly wanted just to note that they're content complete in 2 weeks for We Happy Few. So I'm excited for that game to come out. We'll actually play it from the beginning and experience how it's supposed to be and go through the quests and everything. Next Day Survival. They went through and did a lot of fixes. This is an interesting game out of Russia. It's a survival game. Pretty fun. Not a huge map, but it is fun to play. If you have it, they put out some fixes. Then one thing that I thought was interesting is IGN has acquired Humble Bundle. So, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what to think, but people could complain about Humble Bundle and, whatever their selection of games, but I don't know if this is going to help or if this is going to hurt.
IGN is IGN's a very big company. They're more than just like a blog on the internet. They're more than just 10 out of 10 IGN posting game reviews. IGN has a large production. Like IGN is a very big company.
Yep.
I don't really know. I don't really know what this means.
Do you think this will give them more pull? I mean, do you think that they'll be able to get better titles?
So. No, I mean, Humble Bundle already had unbelievable name recognition.
Yeah.
I mean, they were already working with everybody and anybody anyway.
Yeah.
So all I hope that happens here is that I hope the prices don't change. I hope they don't take the affiliate program away. Here's the thing. You want to know what a good acquisition is, Brian? When the customers can't tell the acquisition happened. That's a good acquisition. Humble Bundle is a very good concept. It works very well. It's very successful.
Yep. The
way you do it is don't change anything. I mean, there may be things you change behind the scenes, but just don't change it. Don't change. I mean, it's a system that works. Google's notorious for doing this. Buying things, and then Yahoo does the same thing. Buys it, changes it, fades off into oblivion. Because people don't want to use the new. They liked what worked. I feel the same way about Humble Bundle.
Well, and so here's an update that was put out by them because people were worried about kind of a conflict of interest, right?
Yeah.
They said editorial integrity is something we take very seriously at IGN, and I am confident that we will strike the right balance when it comes to our coverage of Humble Bundle and the games they sell. Our readers and customers have always come first, and that won't change. Yeah, so they're wanting to say that they're not going to all of a sudden be like, oh, Humble Bundle's the most wonderful thing in all their coverage. Yeah. 10 out of 10 Humble Bundle.
Yeah, so, I've never heard that
or
from a media
offering to give
before. Got it.
Or if you come into our humble bundle, you'll get a 10 out of 10 rating on IGN. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you got to worry about.
And they can, but I mean, again, they would legally be allowed to do that.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, if that's what people are concerned about, I mean, it would just all it would risk doing is lowering. I mean, I don't know if it can be lowered that much more. But
does anybody
think of the IGN rating is?
It's already a laughing stock. I mean, literally an internet meme is 10 out of 10 IGN. Too much water.
Yeah, and so that's the thing is I don't really see that it's really going to damage anyone.
No, as long as they don't screw with the prices and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, as we saw with H1Z1 going to a new company, who owns you makes a difference. It makes decisions. It causes changes to the way companies are run. That was a perfect example of, when the game doesn't matter anymore, it's about what profits you can get. All right, let's put out all these ridiculous skins.
Well, I would say the good thing for IGN's case is they're already a business. They're not an investment house. So I think the big issue with H1Z1 is it's owned by an investment company. And investment companies care about, final dollar amounts and final margins. They don't really care how you get there. They care about the end result for the most part. IGN's already a business, so I would imagine. So
they're not purely like we have to make or break on this.
Yeah, it's interesting. Please IGN, don't screw with the concept. I love Humble Bundle. Let's just leave it the way it is.
Yeah.
Let's announce.
And that's one thing. I mean,
sorry.
No, and I was just going to say, as far as the affiliate program, we get a lot of support from them doing that. Like, we don't have to sit there and sell stuff. Like, people are interested in, if you're interested in the game, all you do is use our link and we get a kickback. And that's the kind of stuff that we can use to help fund going to PAX and things like that. And so it's an easy way for us to get money without having to sell ourselves out. Right.
Which you'd be willing to do for the right customer.
Was that a public notice?
Yeah, absolutely.
Without having to sell ourselves out. But if they turn around and then, you have to be a YouTube person with 100,000 subs, or we are not going to talk to you. I just don't want it to turn into something like that, because we sell a decent number of copies, but not on the level that H3H3 would, right? I mean, we're not that, and I'm just hoping that they're not going to view it as, it's not really worth our time offering this to these, to smaller podcasters and things like that, because that just would be a shame. But that would make sense in the business model not to.
Correct.
If they're not making a lot of money off of it. So
absolutely,
these guys have been good about how they've done it with us so far.
Yes. And of course, if you're interested in that, infectionpodcast.com/support, you can click the Humble Bundle link on there. And when you buy stuff from Humble Bundle, it gives us actually a pretty substantial kickback. So we appreciate anybody going to do that. Whole bunch of cool Humble Bundles going on all the time. All right, Brian, want to do our game giveaway here? I've just got one game for current players, and then we can wrap her up.
Okay, so exclamation point giveaway in chat, and we are going to give away a copy of Borderlands Game of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
So this is, I guess, you could call it a AAA title, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is a AAA title.
And this one comes with all the 4 expansions, DLCs. So the Game of the Year one is all 4 DLCs on this. So if you are interested in Borderlands, exclamation point giveaway in chat, and we'll give it away here right before the end of the show.
This is a $30 game.
This is the 2009 Game of the Year. Yeah.
Yeah. $30 game. So, and for that, and again, if you're not here live and you're listening to this after the fact or watching it on YouTube, you can tune in live every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Infection Podcast. Just got one quick
and
game.
This comes with, so just as far as really quick, the DLCs is Zombie Island of Dr. Ned, Mad Moxie's Underdome, Riot, the Secret Armory of General Knox, and Claptrap's Robot Revolution. Each of those DLCs are worth $10. So
gotcha. All right. Well, exclamation point giveaway to enter that. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, quick game of the week today as we went way off the rails. Currently playing this, 320,717. The 24-hour peak, 1,720,392. Brian, this is down 200,000 from last week, the 24-hour peak. Yeah. This is the first time that that's happened. It was It was around 190,000 last week. So that's down. That's down.
1.9 million.
Oh, excuse me. Yes. Well, it was at 1.9 million last week. It's at 1.7 this week. It's down about 200,000. Does that mean anything?
Yeah.
Who knows? The big boy, the big number, the 7-day peak, 2,289,971. Brian, you were wrong. I was wrong. Most of the internet was wrong. This game broke 2 million players on, I believe it was Saturday the 14th.
Yep.
So halfway through the month of October. This game came out in March. This game has literally been out less than a year.
7 months. Yep.
I mean, it's
been out about 7 months.
It's crazy. I don't remember when exactly in March it came out. Actually March 23rd. So it's been out, just 7 months. 2.2 million. That's crazy. So congratulations to the PUBG team. They are making a fantastic game, and they're going to continue to rise. So there you go.
And one thing, if you're looking for exclusively PUBG content, there's Hot Drop is a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah,
and he's a listener of the show, so encourage you to go check that out. Search for Hot Drop on YouTube.
The Hot Drop podcast.
Hot Drop podcast, and that is specific. The whole thing is about PUBG. So
absolutely.
All right. Is there anything else we need to cover before tip of the week?
No, I think we just about got it all. Actually, we didn't get about anything,
cool.
But I think we
I guess steamrolled through it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's a fact.
All right. So tip of the week, so I go through and either give it a general gaming tip or for a specific game this week, since it's so hot, is PUBG. So this is tip of the week. All right. So first and most important, when you enter a game in PUBG, you want to mute the lobby. So I figured I'd just throw this one in there. Press Control T if you want to mute the lobby, because otherwise you'll hear. And one thing, I made a mistake this week because I did play some PUBG, get a few games in. I accidentally, for some reason, it by default went to the Asian servers, and so I'm in the lobby for the Asian servers. And I'm like, everybody is speaking like Chinese. Just didn't make any sense to me, like everybody. And so then I once I got back to the screen, for some reason it had defaulted to the Asian servers on my game. And so, yeah, if you want to mute the lobby, Control T. Also, once you have started the game, I figured I'd just break down a little bit of the timing of some of these things, because this is kind of unique to this game. A lot of people don't understand what makes the next zone come. And so I'm just going to go through and kind of give you the timings of how long it takes between zones. So when you're in the plane, and from that moment that the plane animation starts, you have 1 minute and 50 seconds until the first circle starts. And then at the 5-minute mark exactly, the first circle will have closed and it starts the second circle. So that's it. That's when it starts. So it takes that amount of time, but a little over 3 minutes, right? For the circle to fully close and get to the second one. The intervals of each circle, so I'm just going to go through, of closing are 5 minutes, 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So that's when the second one will have closed. 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 2 minutes and 2 minutes even, 2 minutes even, and then 1 minute 30 seconds, 1 minute 30 seconds, and then 1 minute. So that's the full length of the whole game to get down to, if you add all those together, that's the full length of one game to get down to the final circle. And one thing to keep in mind is as those close, the damage for each of those zones gets progressively more harmful to you as the game goes on. So you can be outside of the zone a little bit in the beginning and maybe throw on some sort of you can drink a Red Bull or whatever. You can
not a sponsor.
Take some of the pills. Yeah, not a sponsor, but you can take those and it will outpace what your damage is that you're taking. Now, if you let it hit that end of the zone while you're still on the outside, the damage gets to double. So if it's hit that zone and then started closing in on the next one and you're still outside of the one before it, the damage doubles at that point. So that's where you have to get back into there. Even if you're not to where the next zone is going to be, you need to get out of it, because you'll notice you take a lot of damage from that point on. So if you ever wondered, well, how long do I really have? Those are the intervals that the circle closes. It's not when the circle starts closing, at the 5-minute mark. That is once that original circle of gas has come in and reached that first circle. That's 5 minutes. And then the rest of those times after that. So hopefully that helps a little bit to understand the timing of all these things. And that is tip of the week.
Alrighty, Brian. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. So do we want to go ahead and do this last? There's nothing. Remember, for our game of the week, Overwatch will be the next one. So make sure it's downloaded or launched and updated at that point.
Friday night.
You're more than welcome to come in a little bit early if you want to kind of just get, I'm sure people will jump in a little bit early, but we make sure everybody's ready to go and we start making the lobbies right at that time. And then, of course, if you want to support the show, thank you for those that are helping to Gadlaw at the beginning of the show, giving to the server official dedicated server fund. We are 62.5% there. So we have 250 of the $400 goal. And once we reach that $400 goal, we will have a dedicated server that we'll be able to host all our different games on. And we've had zero issues with that where I've had it right now. So we know that the internet connection is good. The main thing is, if that person who that computer's on ever reboots their computer or anything, everything goes down. So that's why we want to get it on a dedicated box. So it's not beholden to what might happen.
Absolutely.
And also if you're looking to support us and you are interested, there is a really good Humble bundle that's actually out right now, the Down Under bundle. And if you go to that, it has one game that I talk about quite a bit, Hand of Fate. It's actually a card game that has some kind of 3D elements in it. You actually have fighting and things that you do along with the card game. Really well done.
Hurt World.
Of course, then they also have Hurt World. So if you're looking at, we've always said, I don't know if you should go out and buy it for full price, but this is an excellent chance to get Hurt World. Yeah, Hurt World and Hand of Fate for under $4.
I wish I would have seen this before the show. I didn't look at the Humble bundle this week. We were talking about how I mentioned Hurt World is one of those games. Don't buy it because you won't get your money's worth. You'll get your money's worth for $3.54, and if you don't, it was only $3. So highly recommend this Humble bundle and getting Hurt World at that price.
So get those because we'll be having a Hurt World night coming up here in a number of weeks.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
if you don't have Hurt World already, go grab it. Make sure you use our link. And there's actually a slider. You can decide how much you want to give us out of that.
Oops.
But I would definitely do that. And Hand of Fate, if anything out of that bundle, Hand of Fate is worth it. It's a really well done game. Hand of Fate of 2 is coming out soon. Maybe I'll get it myself on a preview copy of that or something. But
we interviewed them in
PAX.
PAX.
Coming out very soon. Yes. I actually sent them a message. Hopefully they'll be giving me a copy to be able to review here soon.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so I just wanted to mention that Armello, I'm not sure about. It's not really my style of game, but if you may be interested in that, that's the $10 tier or $12 tier. If you're into that style of game, then you're more
Crawl. I heard is a good.
There's
game
a lot
too.
of good games for
whatever
under $4.
Crawl's a good game from what I've heard.
Cool. So yeah, I mean it's a pretty solid bundle. I saw it and I was like, well, that's even if I may get the $4 one just for having some giveaways to do.
There you go.
For myself. So
all right, let's do our.
All right, so we'll do this final one.
Yes, sir. Falcons Watch.
All right, Falcons Watch. Congratulations. He said before the show, I don't have this. It's not rigged, I promise.
He'll like this game too. This is his kind of game.
Yeah, so I think he'll have a lot of fun with it.
But again, that's not illegal. So
yeah,
that seems to be the theme tonight. Well, it's not illegal.
Not illegal. I guess we can.
Thank you, Falcon.
Now, one of those games names is called Screen Sheet. Okay, so Screen Sheet. This is one that I've heard about. Sorry, this is on the Humble Bundle. Screen Sheet is one where everybody plays on the same screen. Like you can see everyone else's screen when you play. It's like multiplayer, but you can see everyone else's screen, and that's part of it is the fact that you can see everyone else, and you use that to be able.
I love this picture because that Halo 3 example at the bottom right-hand corner was me and my cousin. Legitimately putting a block between their they had a huge projection TV, and we'd literally build a wall in between the projection TV so that, you know,
the secret of this game is everyone's invisible inside of the game.
Yeah.
You can only see them by their screens.
Yeah, very confused. You know, I'd be an expert at this because I cheated my butt off in Halo, looking at other people's screens.
I just think it's funny because like the thing is you can run up right in front of them and you won't see them on your screen. You have to look at everyone else's screen to be able to see where they're at.
Sounds like a headache waiting to happen.
It's a unique concept. So
I
anyway, I thought that was funny. Yeah. And that'd be a fun one for a game of the week if we had enough people to have it.
Well, you can't do it you have to do it in person.
No, you don't, because you can see their screens.
Oh, gotcha.
That's the thing, is on the multiplayer, you see all their screens when you're playing.
Yeah, maybe it is. Okay, I'll pick it up.
But you can't see them on your block. You have to look at theirs.
Okay, well, cool.
Yeah.
I will.
So it would work for online as well.
And
it's a Windows, Mac, and Linux. Look at all these games with Linux on it. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
All but Hurt World are all Linux.
Shocker.
Sorry, that's the Linux guy in me.
Yeah.
Soon everyone will be Linux.
No. Keep dreaming. We have a better chance of being the poster children for H1Z1 than we do all these games working on Linux.
No, I have so many games in my library that are Linux compatible. I have like
sure
100
you do.
and something.
Well, you do own about 1,000 something
hundred
games, so
yeah, I have 1,172.
That's very unhealthy.
Too many.
Yes, like 900 too many. It is.
I haven't redeemed them all yet. Remember those ones I was skipping? I was like, oh, we should do this one game in the giveaway. I haven't redeemed it.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
All right.
Brian, we got to.
I don't think that's it. So
this is a bad.
On the internet.
This is a bad show. This is all over the place.
Well, people may like it. At Boise Computer on Twitter. More than welcome. Go check out my blog, Bite of Tech. That's BITE of tech.com. Of course, go check out our website, infectionpodcast.com. If you're looking to join our Discord, on the right-hand side, click Join Server, and that will connect you to us. Nice lightweight app. Has a nice mobile app, and also for your computer. And make sure, if you don't follow us on YouTube, if you don't follow us on Twitter, that you go on there and follow us and subscribe to us on a podcast app, because that's how we track how many people actually listen.
That is a fact.
So if you listen to us, make sure you are subscribed.
Yes. And Brian, thank you very much. We'll see you Friday night, and then hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday. Actually, not hopefully. We will. I'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, I plan on being here.
Yeah, me too. Maybe. We'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Gotta plug it. We did a really good episode of The Crummy Show this week. It was like an episode of Infection, Brian, in the sense it was like one of our slow news weeks where we don't have a lot, but then we get into a good conversation. We ended up talking about VR for like half an hour, and Jake and I had a really good conversation on current VR, future of VR, why we're interested, why we're not. So if you have any interest in VR, highly recommend episode 49 of The Crummy Show, crummyshow.com for that. This is a Hot VR Takes is the title of that episode. I mean, I'm not biased or anything, but I'd highly recommend you check it out. It's a good episode. Brian listened to it. Brian enjoyed it.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. So that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Episode 144 of Infection. We'll be back next week for episode 149. You can visit our website, infectionpodcast.com. My name is Nick Craig. We'll see you next week.